again. So I am so glad y'all are here with me today, and knowing that you're here makes me believe that you are interested in either domestic machine quilting or long arm quilting. So I do both, and I teach, and that's what I want to do, is I want to teach people how to get where they want to get with their on the domestic machine or the long arm machine. So we will talk about the domestic machine first. So I'm just going to go over a few points. And I do want to say too, if you have any questions, please plug them in so we can answer your questions. Now's the time. So for domestic machine quilting, some of the things you need to know are what kind of tools do I need? Well, basically you need a machine, a good machine. You also need to make sure your machine is clean. Now with my machine, I have 2 plates. One, I don't know if you can see this or not, but one has an oval hole here, and this here, the oval hole is basically for regular sewing. So when I do domestic machine quilting, you might want to zoom into this. I have another plate, and it has a round hole, and let's see if I can draw my needle. It has a round hole, and that's better for domestic machine quilting. You just want to make sure that, you know, you're doing a straight stitch as you go. There's no setting a stitch length or anything. Free motion quilting is all about you creating the size of the stitch length on your domestic machine. So now I know a lot of the older machines don't have these, and not to worry, because as long as you can drop the feed dogs on your machine, which are these right here for you new quilters, these little rough areas right here, there's a button on my machine that drops those. And therefore, it doesn't pull the fabric through. So you want those down because you're actually moving the fabric as you're stitching. So, excuse me for a minute. Sorry about that. Got a little allergies going on, so forgive me for that. But we're gonna get through this. All right. So the feed dogs are dropped, and you want to make sure that you have a hopping foot of some kind. Now my machine came with a hopping foot, which looks like this, and I have to tell you that, you know, every machine is different. So you really need to look at your machine and know which foot is for what purpose before you start free motion quilting. If you need to talk to your dealer to get advice on that, oh, please do. Well, I don't use this one anymore. So I purchased this, and this is an adapter. And I just put it on my machine with this. There's a screw here for my machine. Hang on, let me drop my foot there. Oop. Now this might take a while. When that screw comes off, it's kind of hard to really get that back in there. All right, bear with me here. Okay, so I'm tightening up the screw, and I've got the foot on, and I want to make sure it's good and tight, so I give it a little nudge there. Thank you. All right, now I've got a closed foot on here, and sometimes these come with different feet. So this one here is very thick, and this one is for using rulers. So if you don't have a ruler foot, I suggest on your domestic or even your long arm, not to use rulers, because this will help keep the foot from hopping up onto the ruler. We have an open foot, and I like this one the best because it's open, and I can see, especially when I'm free motion quilting, I can see where I want to go. But if I'm using rulers, it's not necessary to see where I'm going. I'm going to follow the ruler I'm going to follow the ruler with the ruler foot right up against the ruler. A lot of ruler word in there. All right, so choose the proper foot for whatever you're doing. It just makes it so much easier. All right, I'm going to get rid of this. Put all this in my little drawer here. I've got my machine set up. I've got the thread threaded for it. I've got my feed dogs down. So everything's good. So I have this. This here is going to be a pillow case. And so what I'm going, a pillow cover actually, so I will actually have to sew on the back the other side so a pillow would fit inside of it. So on something like this, and as a beginner, you want to start out very simple, and straight lines would be perfect for this, connecting the squares. So you can start in the corners and come straight down and meet this corner. And if you have to draw a line, that's fine too. And straight lines, you can use a walking foot. If you're familiar with your walking foot, you can use that, and it's very helpful for straight lines. But if you don't want to use a walking foot, and as a new quilter, and if something really isn't that important to you, you might want to just do it free motion just to get that extra practice in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to drop my foot, and I'm going to get just maybe 1/4 of an inch away from that corner there, and I'm going to bring up my bobbin thread. So now I've got my bobbin thread and my top thread, and you want to pull them nice and taut so you don't have any loops in the back. And now we're going to just kind of stitch in the ditch a little bit and just kind of make tiny, tiny stitches to lock them in. Now, you could do this one or two ways. If you have that ruler foot, you can put that straight edge ruler and you can follow it down to this point. Now, one of the biggest things I tell my students is when you are quilting free motion, whether it's domestic or long arm, don't watch the needle. Watch where you want to go. So basically, I'm going to actually watch this point as I'm coming down because I want to meet this point. Now, I'm in charge of my stitch length just by moving the fabric. Now, if my line is a little crooked, I'm not going to worry about it. I just know that I want to meet that point. And there you go, right into that point. All right, one other thing that's very important that I did not do is you want to make sure that you have your needle in the needle down position always.
When you stop?
Yeah, so when you stop, your needle is in needle down position so that your quilt won't move. Yeah, so it's always good to have the needle down, in the needle down position. If you don't have a needle down position button, don't worry. You have your little wheel off to the side here. And all you have to do is turn that wheel and it'll get the needle down. Let me get another drink. All right. Now I'm going to head on to this point. So basically straight lines are a good way to just practice. Right to that point. I'm not watching the needle. I'm watching ahead of where I want to go, knowing I want to hit that point. If we miss that point, that's fine. Don't worry about it. All the way down. All right, now I'm going to come to the end here. And another thing, too, is you can smooth out your backing. Make sure that you don't get any puckers in the back. But as a beginner, if you get those puckers, don't worry too much about it. It's not that big a deal. Now I'm going to lock in my stitches right here. And normally I would bring up my bobbin thread, but I went ahead and cut my thread. Now, when you do something like that, what's going to happen is you're going to get these little tails on the back. So this being a pillow cover, you could get away with this because this will never show. But if this was an actual quilt top, those little ends right there, you can cut them off, but they will definitely show. All right. Okay, so just practice with straight lines. That's the main thing. If you can do straight lines, which are actually, they're not easy to do. So if you can do straight lines, you can quilt. So not to worry. Now, I want to show, do we have any questions?
We can do the questions after all the demos.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's easier.
Okay. So
I guess if someone has something like that's really relevant to what you just said, then type it in.
I hope y'all can understand me with my shaky voice. It's been a rough couple of days here with this cold. So actually it's allergies. It's not a cold. All right. So the best thing to do if you want to learn to free motion quilt is to just make sandwiches. I did not measure this. I don't know how big this is. I'm kind of guessing it's probably 20 by 20 or close to. It may be off here a bit. But this is big enough to just practice what I need to practice. So the main thing, I'm going to give you some tips here. So we talked about not watching the needle. So don't do that. Just watch where you want to go. But the other thing too is you have to be relaxed. If you're tense and your claws are like digging into your tabletop, you're not relaxed. If your shoulders are up and your neck is poked out, you're not relaxed. So you have to learn to be relaxed to be able to do it. And it just makes it so much easier for you once you learn it. And it was hard for me to learn when I first started quilting. But once I figured it out, and even to this day, sometimes, on some very intricate things, I find myself not relaxing, so things kind of pull. All right, so let's get with it. Needle up, needle down. We're going to bring this sandwich towards us, and I see that little bobbin thread poking up. So we want to make sure that we have our bobbin thread up on the surface. And our top thread, we're going to drop our needle, and we're going to give a little tug to get that little, you'll have a little loop in there when you move your quilt, so you want to make sure you get that out. So I'm just going to do something very simple. A lot of people say stippling is simple, but I found out over the years that a lot of people have a really hard time with stippling. So let's do loops instead. Listen to your machine.
I wonder if with that light off, if they could see better.
I can't turn the light off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe once it...
Sorry about that. All right, so I'm just going to make some loops. And you want to listen to your machine. You want to listen to the sound. Make sure that it sounds very even.
Oh, yeah, it shows up.
Loops. Change direction and loops. Stop. Oh, I don't have my needle down, so I'm going to put my needle in the needle down position. And then I'm going to move my hands. And now I'm going to do some more loops. And it's all about just filling in the space. So loops are probably one of the easiest things to do.
You just rotate the quilt or
You just rotate,
around?
yes. Once you get to an area that you're not familiar with, and that's one of the pluses about domestic machine quilting, is you can maneuver your quilt. Long arm, you can't do that. You have to figure out how to do everything in every direction there is. So, which is not a bad thing.
Rebecca's asking, how do you decide on fabric color?
On fabric color as far as what thread you're using? Is that...
Well, maybe she can type in again if she's referring. You can keep going, and
Okay.
she can clarify if she means thread in relation to fabric or just fabric in general.
I'm using a contrasting thread so that you can see what I'm doing. Although this is a very pretty color, and I would actually use this thread on this fabric if I was going to make something. All right, I want to show you something. Let me clip my tails here. I clip right to the surface. You can bury your threads if you want. All right, so I want to show you something. I have nice even stitches. They may be a little bit bigger than I want, but I want to show you. So I've got my speed control set on my machine. If you have a speed control, that's a good thing too. Start out slow and increase it as you feel like you're getting more comfortable. But if I go fast and my needle goes slow, I'm going to get bigger stitches, as you can see right here. I hope.
She said, how do you decide on thread color?
On thread color, basically what I do is I will, I'll take a quilt. We could step over here to this quilt right here, and I can actually show you what I'm talking about. But if you, like this quilt here, it has a lot of cream in it. That's pretty much, in my opinion, that is the background color. So I'm going to probably choose a cream color. Now, you could choose a red, but I think that a red would be way too bold on this. You can choose a beige, but let me show you how I figure that out. I'll be right there. So,
and then after that, we have a question from Debbie. Okay. After you answer the
thread.
So
what I do is I choose the thread type that I'm going to be using. And what I'll do is I'll just lay it over all the different colors in the quilt top and decide, is that going to blend with everything? So this is not the color I chose. I just pulled this off my wall. I have more of a cream color that I chose. And I went with it because it actually, you can see the quilting in the red pretty good, but it actually blends very well, I think.
Mm-hmm. So, and then red might not look good on the whites.
Right. I would not use a red thread on this. Okay. You know, you might get away with maybe a sage color thread, but then when you get to this color block right here, like I did over here, you know, it might be a little bit too contrast.
Okay.
When I quilt, and that's just when I quilt, everybody has their own way of doing things, but I like the thread color to blend. Mm-hmm. I don't want the thread to take away from the piecing of the quilt or even the quilting designs.
Okay. Okay. And then Debbie asks, do you prefer bare-handed or gloves? When you're domestic, because we're going to go over to long arm in a minute, and then no gloves on long arm, right?
Okay. All right. Well, I have a little tip for you here.
All right, but you don't use gloves.
I do not use gloves.
Okay,
no.
But you're not against them?
I'm not against them.
Okay.
No, not at all. Not at all. You have to find what works best for you. If you like to use gloves, by all means, use them because it's going to make your life easier when you're quilting. You know, if you don't, then find something that works best for you. So these are palm paddles. Can you, do I need to take that out of the package?
No, I see.
Okay. Martelli makes these. Handy Quilter also has them too, and I think they have them in purple. But this is what they look like. They're just these little oval shapes, and you flip them over, and it's got this, like a felt, I guess. And I've tried everything, hoops, gloves, everything, and not happy with any of them. So for the longest time, I just, with my bare hands, quilted. So, but these grip. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. It just grips. And I'm not putting any pressure.
Do you want to demo it real quick?
Yeah, I'll demo it.
Okay.
Absolutely. So, let me get another drink.
And then we have another question after you demo.
Okay. All right, good. I love questions. All right, so I was using my hand, which can cause a little bit of stress sometimes, especially if you have a larger quilt. But we're only working in a small area at a time, no matter how big or how small your quilt is. Your palm petals, set them down. Your needle's here. Your palm petals are in each side. You just hold them. You don't even hold them. You just put your palms on them, your hand on them, and you just go. For me, these were the best invention ever. And if I get too close to them, I just stop with my needle in the needle down position and readjust and carry on.
So is this your typical speed of quilting, or are you going slower because you're teaching?
I can go faster.
But do you typically go?
When I'm teaching, I like to kind of go slow because usually I teach beginners, and I feel like beginners need to start out slower. So you need to work your way up. Just because you see somebody putting the pedal to the metal and really getting after it, quilting, you know, that's not for everybody.
And I'll say sometimes we speed up your videos that we post, but it's to be able to show more of the design in a shorter amount of time. But if a video looks really fast, you're never actually quilting that fast. We just do it to show more of the design. Debbie says, thank you. Grace asks at the end, how do you get your bobbin thread up?
Oh, well, let's do that. I love that one because I have to tell you that I'm going to cut my thread here. And normally you wouldn't cut your thread. You bring your bobbin thread up at the end as well. Okay. So I have to say that when I first got my long arm years and years and years ago, that was one of the things I had the hardest time with. It was bringing that bobbin thread up. Then I learned how to bring up the bobbin thread, but then I noticed there were these little tiny loops on the back of the quilt, and I'm going to show you how to prevent that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hold, and this is for a long arm as well. I'm going to hold on to my my top thread here. I'm going to put my foot down, but I'm going to put wherever I want to start. Let's just say I want to start right here. I want to pick up where I left off. So if I ran out of bobbin here, I'm going to back it up a little bit, and I'm going to try to get right on top of those stitches. And I'm going to take the wheel and get real close. Then you go needle down, or you can do your wheel, whatever you want to do. Needle down, needle up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my foot up. Now on your long arm, you don't bring your foot up. Now I'm just going to pull towards me, and you can see that little bobbin thread right there. There it is. Okay? So you're going to pull the bobbin thread up. Now, because I moved my machine from where the bobbin thread came up to over here, if I just come back over here and I start stitching, I'm going to have that little loop under there of thread that you don't want. So we're going to put our foot back down. We're going to give both the threads a little tug, especially that bobbin thread. Give that bobbin thread a little tug. And then we're going to go right down. We're going to lock in our stitches. Tiny, tiny stitches. Needle down. And now we're going to carry on. All right, now what if I want to stop? I'm done. I want to stop. So what I'm going to do now is I have my needle in the needle down position. I'm going to bring my needle up. I'm going to bring my foot up. I'm going to grab my thread, my top thread right there. Grab it. And I'm going to bring my needle down. You'll want to lock in your stitches with tiny, tiny stitches before you do this step. I'm going to bring my needle down, needle up, move. Looky there, right there. Do you see it? Right there. There's the bobbin thread right there. So the bobbin thread is going to be a loop. And then we have our top thread. And now what we're going to do is we're going to cut right to the surface. Just like so. And it won't come out as long as you put those tiny, tiny stitches in there. So, and then this one here, where we started, I'm going to just clip right to the surface. And again, it's your quilt. If you want to bury your stitches, you can do that as well.
Cool. Charlotte says, I love the idea of doing loops instead of stippling.
I think a lot of people do. I'm telling secrets about myself when I first started, but that's okay because we all have different ways of learning. And I did not like stippling. I couldn't get it to look right. It just didn't look right for me. So I just quilted other things instead in the background, like loops or little peacocks, echoed peacock tails or whatever. But over the years, I decided, a few years later, I decided I've got to learn how to stipple. So I did. I learned how to stipple. I just stuck with it and did it. And I love it. I love stippling. I think as a background fill, stippling really, really can make a quilt look elegant. So, all right. So let's step over to the long arm.
Wait, so this is, you have 2 long arms.
I do.
Okay.
So I have a demo that I've had since 2005, and it's been a good machine for me, and I have a Handy Quilter Amara with a computer system, but just because I have a computer system, I can still do free motion quilting on this, which is I really like. So with that said, I have my open foot on, because when I free motion, and that's what I want, is I want my my open foot on. I don't have my clamps on. Oh. Excuse me for a minute. I don't have my clamps on. This is just a sample piece here. And, I mean, not even a sample piece. It's a practice piece. So I'll probably do something with it later. I got real intense up here, trying different things, and just having fun. I really love doing this. Okay, so let's bring our bobbin thread up the same way. You have to move that machine, bring it back, and tug on that bobbin thread. Needle in the needle down position, and take those tiny, tiny stitches. But I have this on baste. We don't want this on baste. And I'm disengaging my gears because I'm doing free motion. And it's the loops. Let's just do the loops on this. So again, you don't want to grip these handlebars. You want to stay relaxed. So bend those knees. Keep your chin up. Don't you know, poke your chin out. And just relax and have fun. So here we go. A loop. And you know, the fun thing about this too is with practice, you can really control this how you want this. Now, I had a very tight area right here, so I just made a small one. So they don't have to be, your loops don't have to be the same size. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So just have fun with it. So this is kind of an oval one right here. I'm not even going to worry about it. So once your quilt is washed, you won't even see any kind of you would call mistake. I would call it a learning experience. I got one right here. Can you zoom into that?
Yeah. I think I accidentally just reversed the screen and showed my face for a second.
How funny. So I have a little oopsie here. I mean, no big deal. I'm going to let it go. So you can edge to edge your quilts. Free motion just like this. You don't have to have a computer. Computers are very nice to have. Don't get me wrong, but you know, if you learn the different techniques, you will have lots of fun quilting. Just like I said, relax and don't watch the needle. You always have to watch ahead where you want to go so you don't get stuck into a tight place. I knew this was going to be a tight place, so I adjusted my little loop. So should I show them one more? A different one?
Yeah.
All right. So this one is called, I like to call this one peacock meandering. And there's echoing in this. And what I mean by that, I'll show you. So let's just, so we make a teardrop. Kind of looks like a teardrop. And then we just echo it. We come out with another teardrop and echo. Now, I have this area I want to fill in here. So I'm just going to echo that back, just like this. Teardrop. And as you can see, these two teardrops right here, I only echoed once. This one here, I echoed twice. So you can echo up to 4 times sometimes just to get where you want to go. So maybe, let's see, I'm going to echo back down. I'm going to echo to here. And then I'm going to create another one. So you just have to practice, just kind of, it takes a while sometimes just to figure out what direction you're going to go. But eventually, if you do it enough, it's gonna click.
And that could be like an edge to edge all over the quilt?
Yes, this could be an edge to edge pattern. Actually, both of these here can be an edge to edge pattern. I would say that these are fairly small sizes. They're not micro, but they are small. And you know, you can, if you can make them bigger. You know, it depends on what you want. You can also make them smaller. You can make these even into a background fill if you wanted to.
Okay. Would you recommend like trying to draw it out on paper first?
Absolutely.
Or a whiteboard?
Absolutely. I always recommend doodling on paper.
Okay.
You can doodle on a whiteboard. I never doodled on a whiteboard because it seemed kind of awkward to me. It didn't have that fine drawing. It was a little thick. So I did it on paper. And I was just able to sit on the couch in the evening, watching television, and coming up with different designs. So once you get your design up here, you can do it here. There might be another learning process to it, as far as, you know, which direction do I go or this and that. But drawing it on paper is really, really going to help you. Trust me. I know.
Cool.
Okay. Any more questions?
Any more questions? And then, so you went over 4 different or 3 different designs.
Mm-hmm. Well, 2 actually. Well,
you went
yeah,
through
I did the
straight.
straight lines.
Okay.
I can do some stippling really quick. So, all right, so let's get some stippling done. So I'm just going to come up here. So, stippling is, you have to remember that the one thing you want to do is you don't want to cross. You don't want to cross your stitches. And what I mean by that is something like this. You don't want that to happen. Okay? So keep them apart. You want everything nice and round. And just have fun with it. This is another technique that you can make this very, very small, which is something I love to do. I love micro stippling. Or you can make it way larger than this to fill in the area. So if you're making your motifs larger, you want to make sure that you know how far apart your lines need to be when you're quilting, depending on the type of batting. So usually it's 4 to 6 inches, mostly 4. So just keep that in mind when you're quilting. So.
Okay. So,
if you're a beginner or if you're not a beginner, I have a boot camp course. It's on my website, Jackie's Machine Quilting, and it's available to anyone who wants to get started on learning how to quilt. It takes you through all the steps and helps you learn different techniques, and it's very, very helpful. So
it's a 3-week boot camp, and the courses are filmed on a long arm and on a domestic. So when you purchase the course, it's you get both long arm and domestic.
And you download it so that you
have lifetime access to it. They're on-demand courses.
Yes.
Debbie's asking, did you mention thread length and width?
Thread length.
Or maybe thread size. Like what kind of thread do you use?
Okay,
I guess maybe
so
that's
mainly when I'm quilting on my long arm, either one of them, it doesn't matter. I use a 40 weight thread.
Okay.
And I usually use Omni. Omni for long arm is my go-to thread. So I have used other threads, but I'm really, really happy with the way Omni works on both my machines and how it looks. If you've got your tension set right, it's a great thread to have. So I have.
And that's by Superior Threads?
That's by Superior Threads. Now on domestic, I've used Glide, I've used Hemingworth, I've used Anton Robinson thread, a lot of the real slippery threads. So
Debbie says length of stitches.
Oh, your length of stitches. Okay. So the free motion here on this long arm was let me just look real quick. Yeah, it was 12 stitches per inch, but you can also do this in manual mode on your long arm. But either on your domestic or your long arm, you kind of want to stay at 11 to 12 stitches per inch in doing some of the things that I just did right here. Once you get into doing intricate stuff like this, you want your stitches to be much, much smaller. The stitch length, anywhere from 14 to 16 stitches per inch. So, and it takes practice, knowing your machine. When I do small stuff like this, I will turn off the regulation on my long arms, and I do it manually. And it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm doing circles, my speed is going to be a little bit slower than if I'm doing micro stippling or feathers. I'll pick up the speed up a little bit.
Okay, so we'll post the link to the boot camp for anybody who wants more. And then also another question from Allison. If your long arm makes a sound like rocks are rattling inside, is that the bobbin casing? It's stitching fine, but it makes this noise recently.
I would like to ask you what kind of long arm you have, but I don't think that really matters because both of my machines are totally different. And when that bobbin gets low, you hear that rattle.
Oh, when it's low.
Yeah. So I don't even pay attention to the rattle.
Okay. And then, do you want to show this?
This is a panel that I created, and it's called Midnight Feathers. And what it is everything. I have feathers in this panel that are printed onto the fabric. I have circles. I have orange peel in here. I have straight lines. I have, different things for you to learn how to do. And with this panel, it comes with some classes for it as well. So I forget how many classes it has.
It's 20 or 21 lessons.
Yeah.
Allison says thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
On you guiding them how to quilt out each section of this. So they get the panel, and then the course shows them how to follow the lines and where to put all the extra background fill and how you recommend doing it and stuff.
And it's actually me quilting it, and it's all freehand. And in some points I do use a ruler to help me get around some of the curves. Now I can make feathers freehand, no problem. But when it comes to following a line, sometimes I'll use a ruler to help me stay on the lines. Not all of them, but if I feel like I'm in an area. So if you need to use a ruler, please. But there's also there's also a video on the micro stippling as well.
Okay, so we'll post the links to the boot camp, which is on-demand courses for beginners. Oh, show the back of that. That's really pretty. And then there's the link we'll put the link also to purchase this panel, where they will get the panel shipped to them, and then they'll get the classes. Yes, Debbie's asking, can this live be watched again? Absolutely. We're gonna post the replay and keep it up. And if you're on our email list, we'll email out the replay also.
Yes, and also about the panel, just so they know that it's a pre-order thing.
Yeah, it's a pre-order. Yeah.
Okay. So, any more questions there?
I don't have any now, but we'll see. I think we'll wrap it up. If anybody has any questions, they can. We'll post the live, and if they post questions in the comments, then we can go back and answer them.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm all about teaching people how to use their long arm or domestic machine. So many people want to learn, but they just don't know where to start. And then once they get started, they don't know where to go from there. So I've been doing this for quite some time. I love it, and I truly love teaching and seeing my students' results. So if you ever have any questions, just ask.
Cool. All right. Lots of thank yous and great. Debbie says, thank you so much. It's been helpful. Charlotte says, thank you so much. So informative. So cool.
Well, you thank me. I'm thanking you for watching. So just take the time to try some of the things that I talked about, and you got to do it. You got to do it.
Oh, we also have a group, Jackie's Machine Quilters. So if you try some of this, well, you can join the group, and it's on Facebook. And then if you try some of these designs, you can post them, and that would be fun to encourage each other.
Yeah.
So
take your time. Don't get in a hurry.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.